One of the questions I often get is why as a leader do I learn the most in challenging times, or when I'm being kind of put through the mill, so to speak, run through the mill, so to speak, and it's those greatest tensions. And we know a lot of the leadership platitudes talk about that the greatest diamonds are made under the most pressure and all that sort of thing, and you create the purest metals with the hottest heat, and all those sorts of things kind of are great metaphors for what's going on. But at the end of the day, as human beings, even though we can learn from the good times, we just tend to learn better from the hard times. And so it's not like we go and put ourselves out in harm's way so we can learn. Hopefully we can be smart enough to learn from the good times as well, but it's those deep, lasting impacts that make a difference. And so when somebody, when somebody is really put under pressure, when somebody is put through a really hard time, and I've been through a number of them myself, there's plenty of times where I look at my week and think, okay, I don't know if I can make it through this, and I've got to push hard, and it changes me, and I have different perspective, or I have to bring in a different perspective, do something deliberately. But I have also been through some fairly serious business challenges where I've had to close businesses, where I've had to, it cost a lot of money, it cost a lot of dignity and a lot of face saving to be dealt with. And so, these are the times. It's funny, there's one time in particular where it was one of the most formative times, I think, in my life, let alone business career, in terms of deep challenges that I went through. I've never been through any major health crises, never been through any major marriage crises, all those sorts of things, and praying that never happens. But we did go through a business crisis. My wife and I went through this together. It cost us a lot of money. We thought at one stage we were going to lose everything. We did lose a lot. It set us back probably about 5 or 6 years in terms of our finances. And we had to press a reset button. But in that journey, it was like I came back to the core of who I am. What was it that mattered the most to me? And the first thing that mattered the most to me in that time was my marriage, and really doubling down on that. And I attribute a lot of the success of my marriage today, which still requires a lot of hard work, but I attribute a lot of the success to that season where we really knuckled in and we communicated well, and we were forced into a space where we had to do that. And so, or seemingly forced, we didn't have to, but we chose to go that way. I think also financially, it taught us that we can live off a lot less than we think we can, and how to rebuild and how to restructure. And lots of good people, we realized, just having sown into people, lots of good people came around us and really offered great support, both tactically and just emotionally as well, that understood the journey. And so this is one of the things that we kind of bring into a mentoring program today, is that knowing what it feels like to wake up and think, I don't know if I can do it today. I don't know if I've got the resources. I don't know how I'm going to make payroll. I don't know if I'm good enough. And so knowing what that feels like, being able to mentor people, and that's the journey I've been on for the last 15 to 20 years, is being able to mentor leaders and business owners through that process. And so what I've seen, though, is that we just learn better in those spaces, because they're so painful. And as human beings, we are wired to avoid pain and move towards pleasure in a natural sense. It's kind of like, if you're in a sudden situation where you got to protect yourself in a motor vehicle, you're going to turn the car away from you, so that if something's going to hit you, or you're going to hit something, then it's going to be on the other side of the car. Which is another reason why, if you're ever in a motor vehicle, it's always good to sit behind the driver. But that's the most safest seat in the car, apart from the driver's seat. And so it's those things where we are wired to get after pleasure and avoid pain. And so some of the conversations that we even have is, how do we reframe what seems to be painful and reframe it to be pleasure? It's not this glib, everything will be okay, or this is happening for a reason and good things will come. It's not those sorts of things. I believe that happens. But it's so there's actually a really great process, and there's a great gradual improvement, and you can see change, and you can get confident expectation of good. So it really is part of our DNA, but it's something we all go through. We're all going to go through really challenging times, and it's not the challenging time, it's what we do with it that really matters.